This is season 3, episode 5 of Roswell, New Mexico. We are going into tonight sad but hopeful for Kyle. I am like 98% sure that he's not gone for good. So I think we're going to be okay. I'm just not sure how we're going to get there. But we are going to have a few discussion points before we start the episode. This is the timestamp for when the reaction starts if you want to skip ahead. But Mom, let's dive into the discussion first.
I'm ready.
So first question. All right, so Heath, who is that science guy that Liz is working with?
Who I do not like.
Well, okay, my question is, are we suspicious of him?
I am.
Talk to me about that.
I really thought when the scene last week where...
At the end, where she's like...
Where she wants to...
resign.
Resign.
Yeah.
That he was going to harm her in some way.
I feel like they set it up to give us that fear.
Yes.
I feel like because then something happened to her, and I feel like we were given the option of, did he do something to her, or is it Max? Is it whatever? And like, is it connected to Max likely trying to heal Kyle? Because she did have the handprint did show up. I'm thinking that, well, one, Max is in a very weakened state, but because he was trying to exert so much energy, she felt it. Mm-hmm. And honestly, when he saved Rosa, she felt something too. I mean, the handprint didn't show up at that point, but she had this like intake of breath, like when that was happening. So the handprint's never like shown up again, but she has felt him in
but the handprint
similar moments. Next question about Heath is, do you think he has a deep sky connection?
They're playing it up in some manner that
like that's
we
a possibility.
Don't know yet.
Because, and here's what I'm suspicious of. Because generally I want to believe that he is as he says he is.
We're right, but
he always seems to have a very convenient friend who is very good at whatever tech issue they need taken care of.
Yeah.
It would make sense for Deep Sky to be interested in Liz, even having no idea about the alien DNA research she's done, because of the field of medical research that she is in. So it would be possible for them to know that Liz got this position with Generex and then place someone there as her partner to like observe what she's doing.
That
it's
possible.
possible.
Has no idea.
Well, I'm saying like even if they had no idea, I think Liz would be a person that they would be interested in working with.
If they did.
I don't know how much they know. I don't know if they know as much as Alex's father knew. Like, I'm not sure how much overlap there is there. But I'm saying, even if they didn't know about the research she did the past year, even if they didn't,
I don't know.
I mean, it's possible.
Okay.
And it would also make sense that because Liz is going back to Roswell, if that guy is sticking around, he could really just then go back to working for Deep Sky, like work with Alex or whatever, like to keep that character around. Rather than just like we, never see or hear from him again. He just stays in California, which is also possible. So let's talk about Noah for a second. And so when Mr. Jones first arrives at Max's house, and he's, he gets himself all washed up, and then he's looking around the place, looking for stuff. He finds a picture of Isabel and Noah. And he kind of has a small little smile as he and then he sets the picture down, goes to look at other stuff. And you could say he's, recognizes Isabel. But I think he recognized Noah. First of all, do you think, because we know that Noah was also not a good guy, do you think they, as in Noah and Mr. Jones, at some point before were working together?
That's possible.
Yeah.
The moment when he recognized the photo, I totally believe that it was a smirk or
You saw it too, though.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right.
It was a Noah relation.
Definitely. Definitely.
Liz.
It's not, yeah.
Yes.
So here's the other thing about that, though. what does Mr. Jones think happened to Noah? Because even if he only knew him from they were on the spaceship together, he must have assumed, because Noah was not with them in like 47, 48, that Noah was either killed or taken by the military. But then somehow, here he is in this picture with Isabel. But then also not currently around. So what does he think happened to Noah? Is he going to ask? Because I think it'll be very curious if he asks about Noah specifically. All right. So one more question leading into the big discussion about Kyle. One of the things that the original series did very well was the transition over the first season of having the Sheriff Valenti character go from kind of, not the enemy, but like someone they had to be very careful around. They were afraid of. He was always asking questions, very suspicious of them. But by the end of the season, he is like a very strong ally. And I loved that character transition. So given that, so spoiler for the season 1 finale of the original series. Part of what brings original Sheriff Valenti over to their side is that Kyle very nearly dies and Max saves him. And so then Sheriff Valenti is like, whatever you need ever, I will do whatever I can for you. Like, you have saved my son's life. So given that, do you think this is an opportunity to bring back in this Sheriff Valenti, even though she's not sheriff anymore? So I'm leaning toward no, they're not going that way because she's not sheriff anymore and because she has left town. But we know that there is stuff like with the new sheriff that is not going well. So like there's an opportunity. You can't, I don't think they would like immediately recall the sheriff, even though the mayor's son just did kill the son of the former sheriff. Like, things are not going well. And it seems like there's some sentiment in the town to want Sheriff Valenti back. There's an opportunity for that character to be of service, and there's precedent within the show of having that character become of more importance, but I don't know, even with that that's quite what they're gonna,
we don't know.
Yeah. So let's talk about Kyle.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Kyle and this funeral, because there's a problem, basically, with how they have set this up and how it's actually played out, that I think gives us an opportunity for a way forward.
Okay.
So I thought about this a lot the past week, and the question I started with was, what exactly are they covering up? Because this whole time, it's been that they're covering up a murder.
Yes.
And it seems like because it's a human killing a human, for reasons that are not alien related, it seems like the only thing about this situation that would need to be covered up is the handprint that Max has presumably now left on Kyle as he shows up and he is dying or just recently dead. There has been a way to cover up handprint deaths in the past, which is to have that, like, other coroner who's like,
I got you.
Come in and do the autopsy. So if they do that again, and I would think it would, maybe it's a deep sky person, maybe, I don't know how else they coordinate getting someone in there, in the next 24 hours, I don't know how busy the Roswell coroner is, but again, this is the son of the former sheriff. They don't have a lot of time. What does help them is that the handprint doesn't show up right away, so you don't have to worry about the paramedics, but you need to worry about the coroner, the medical examiner. But here's the thing. So let's assume that they get an alternative coroner. The only thing that the coroner has to cover up is the fact of the handprint. As long as that is left out of the final report, there is no reason to cover up the fact that it was a murder.
Well,
and there would be no reason.
He's got a metal bar.
Well, exactly. Like, it's clearly not an accident.
It's not.
And there's no reason to suggest otherwise.
Yeah,
there's also no reason that were they to find DNA on Kyle somewhere of Jordan, the guy who killed him, there's no reason to leave that out of the final report. Other than possibly town politics, but why would an alternate coroner, like, let's set that aside. Which means you are not covering up the fact of a murder, and you are not covering up who the murderer is. So what are you covering up? And it seems like they do not cover it up, because Bert, who is that black guy who got threatened at the drive-thru night, says at the funeral, if the sheriff had responded to my complaint about violence, this wouldn't have happened, suggesting that he knows who killed Kyle, or which group of people was involved with killing Kyle, which means that they did not cover up the murder.
Yeah, but they would not need to. The
exactly.
Would not need to cover up. That would be.
And yet, for 4 episodes, it's been, we are covering up a murder. Except, no, you're not. There's no reason to. You cover up the handprint. I'm trying to figure out, like, okay, then, so how do you make those two things fit? And this is what I came up with.
Okay.
So in our current timeline, Kyle has just died. Like, let's say he's not clinging to life, like he's dead right now. The events of the funeral are still, like, 3, maybe 4 days in the future. Which means that the events of the funeral have not yet happened. But because we know what happens, and now Kyle has died, the funeral doesn't still have to happen exactly the way it did in the vision. So maybe, people don't describe, maybe Alex doesn't describe it in that same way. Like, maybe the all the hints that Maria got from her visions were to, as it turns out, too late, were to try to save Kyle or whatever, but that didn't happen. But I'm just saying, what my point is that, well, maybe Alex doesn't say 3 days from now we're covering up a murder, because 3 days from now, no, they're not. That part has changed. Although, other than presuming that they find DNA evidence on Kyle, they wouldn't know who killed him. Although, what Bert said is suggestive that he knows, like, they have a list of 3, maybe 4 possible suspects. But the other options for the funeral being different is, so, okay, there's not enough time for Mr. Jones. So, okay, let's assume that the ambulance is on its way. It will be there, like, within 5 minutes. So the option is then either the ambulance shows up, finds Kyle, and presumably Max passed out at his feet, which would not look great, but, or someone else, like Isabel, let's say, is on her way and shows up before the ambulance does. Isabel and Maria maybe haul the 2 of them away from the scene. Paramedics show up and find a pile of blood. And then you have the other option of what you are covering up. Because clearly someone has been very severely injured, but they're sort of hiding the fact of the death. Is
there really evidence?
Because at that point, they don't know who did this to Kyle.
Yeah.
Like, Max doesn't know yet. They haven't. We're basing them finding out on there being DNA evidence on Kyle.
And we don't know that they're going to be.
We don't know that they're correct. So at this point, I mean, they know it's not Mr. Jones, though, because Max and Michael have just put Mr. Jones back in the cage, and there would not be time for Mr. Jones. So it's not Mr. Jones, which eliminates, like, the number 1 alien possibility. Yeah. You could also have the possibility that the funeral doesn't happen at all now. like now that this is, because that's still in the future. All right. Okay, let's get started. Let's hope it's not as sad as the last episode, but honestly, we'll see. What? Are you kidding me? This is not real. Are you kidding me? This is.
Are you in there?
Take me back to Roswell.
I am stunned. Kyle was absolutely dead. Are you kidding me? Is this a dream?
How did I end up on your couch?
What the hell is this?
You passed
He's
out.
fine?
That's where I healed you. Figured you'd rather wake up there than...
This is not real.
He's fine.
This is no. We're gonna get to the end of the episode, and this whole thing is not real.
No clue.
That man's
But, I mean, this is the
standing.
first time
Max
in
is
weeks I haven't had
standing.
a
There's
mainline
no
acetone just to
freak.
throw
Hold
up
on.
that.
There is no way.
How did I wind up on your couch and he's standing?
By himself, no one helped Max then move Kyle's semi-conscious body.
And he killed
Well,
him.
even if okay,
I
okay,
did, that's
okay. You know what? Okay, even if Kyle was clinging to life when Max shows up, saving Rosa, and granted, who had been dead, full dead, killed him. But now, when Max is literally weeks from death, weeks from his heart just stopping, Kyle, who had a 2-inch wide
Yeah, it
hole.
wasn't small. It was
No.
square.
Yeah. Through his entire body,
Impaled.
through the depth of his entire torso, is just waking up on Max's couch.
Yeah. Let's
I wanted to fight for this.
play
I wanted so
No
funeral
one guessed
funeral's
this.
completely
No
out the
one-
window.
No one guessed
No.
this.
Is this real?
We don't know yet.
Are we going to get to the end of the episode and this is all Max's fever dream as he is passing away? Yeah, is he a ghost? Is Max the only one who sees him? Is Kyle a ghost right now? Is this a Sixth Sense scenario? Alright, I'm going to take a breath and we're going to rewind to the beginning of this scene because I feel like I was screaming too loud to hear what anyone was saying. This is unexpected.
Very
Okay, hold on. I thought about this so much in this past week of how. Okay. All right. Okay.
The writer's got you. Kudos. Write a letter.
Or
Send an email.
this is Max's fever dream as he is about to die. So either,
This is the first time in weeks I haven't had a mainline acetone just to crawl up.
unless when Mr. Jones gave him that memory, he did more than that.
Ash is still in the air. Things are lining up, so you're benched until his handprint disappears.
Well, maybe I just got to Kyle later in your vision and I wasn't able to save him.
Look, there's no mate.
Are they suggesting that he'll be attempted murdered again? I don't want to go through this again.
But until this intergalactic body glitter disappears, we're just gonna have to bust out the puzzles and binge some Buffy.
That would be
Like
so
it's
much
quarantine
fun.
all over.
I made myself a promise this morning is I'm gonna drink less tequila and I'm gonna take care of the people who matter.
Are you? It's
Okay.
okay.
But give me the...
Good. That's
All
good.
right.
What am I supposed to do?
Go talk to Alex.
Michael, find someone else to take care of.
Oh, go say hi. Go knock on his door. Go say hi. Come on, man.
Updating the specials?
We're closed for the day. Gregory and Bert are helping me organize a march for the Lopez's.
Oh, I
Could use
freaking love
your
Arturo.
artistic eye on this. ¿Qué piensas? Alien and proud.
Oh, that's so cute.
Figures that she does this.
Before my visa, when I had no voice,
Oh,
people spoke out
he's
for
got
me.
his visa.
Now I have a voice, and it's my job as an American to use it.
Oh my god, I love him.
I mean, Rosa loved raging against the machine, but Rosalinda cannot afford that kind of attention.
There's something with her necklace it's been mentioned before. They kind of keep showing it. What is this necklace? Why is it so significant?
You can barely hold your head up. It's like something is sucking the life force out of you.
Okay, I'm thinking now that this is like an energy transfer between Max and Liz. That he is okay because he took part of her, like, life force. No. He appears to not be aware, but even if he was with Deep Sky, he might not exactly still know what is happening.
Dried up my old fishing spot. But the view there is spectacular.
Tell me more.
We need to see something from that view.
I found out that you and I have a mutual acquaintance.
Noah!
Noah Bracken. I knew him from back home. How long were you
So,
married?
hold on. How would he know Noah's name?
He says he knew him from back home.
What? Okay, Noah Bracken is his alien name. The two other people we've seen, though, have been, like, one color. He was, like, multicolored. And I think that's kind of weird.
You don't have the badges to keep this in check.
I'm telling you.
This is gonna go from bad to worse.
Why? Because they're your friends?
Evans, give me the names of all the protesters with violent priors. You.
What, and then you're gonna do what?
Call up the regiment.
Wait, call up or call off? What did she say? Oh my god. I mean, I'm glad they're doing this, but I'm, like, also infuriated.
The badges to keep.
Call up the regiment.
I think she said call up. God. Are you freaking kidding me? That is so, oh my god. Are you kidding me? I cannot, oh my god. I cannot, I mean, this is so unsafe.
I thought you people only made burritos.
Jesus Christ.
I recognize your voice. Your parents.
It's like they're wearing white hoods.
You don't know nothing, old man.
Oh my god, oh my god.
Papi! Hey, you stupid buckos, get out of here, okay, before I call the cops.
Yeah.
He's my son.
Now
Oh! Oh my god, that's still so dangerous. Oh my god.
Papi, are you okay?
Yeah. 3 days practice does not an expert make.
Don't.
Don't gaslight her.
Me.
That yellow that you see, that's you, Isabel. That's what you're feeling, not me.
No.
Classic gaslighter.
All I see when I look at you is fear and insecurity and distrust.
And yet a few days ago it was
After
strength.
yesterday, I understand why.
Heath, can you find Dr. Jane Holden? She should be able to help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't Jane Holden the
Okay, I'll
fake
be back as
medical
soon as I can.
examiner? Do you think that if Max was not currently in late stage heart failure, he could have healed Kyle and not died like he did with Rosa?
No.
Well, I think he maybe could have, because I feel like other than his heart problems, he's generally stronger in his powers than he was at the time that he brought Rosa back.
Well,
I don't think this is an issue of because Max and Liz have a connection, he, like, obviously not on purpose, but I think it has to do with Mr. Jones doing more than he said he was when he was giving Max memories that would have caused that transfer to go to the person Max is connected to, which happens to be Liz.
well, and he wants to be the foremost person in
Yes.
Max's life and not the others.
Yeah. So I think Mr. Jones is responsible for what's happening to Liz.
It gives us a huge bullseye on Kyle's back.
I feel like with all of this setup, it's not going to be Kyle again. I fear it may be someone else. All right, come on. Control it this time, though. There you go. Come on.
Dried up my old fishing spot. But the view there is
I knew it!
spectacular.
Come on.
clearly used your fire ability, but what did you burn?
A wallet? Wait.
These
The
murderers
guy?
are running free.
The guy who's dead?
Time we send a strong message.
What is the plan?
You ready for this?
I certainly am.
Why did they send 2 women of color to do this? Like, what is the plan? Are they gonna use Maria's, like, mind power somehow to make them think
Rosa
something?
I don't know.
And Rosa, like, she doesn't have defined abilities. Like, what? I assume that they're not there by themselves, but, like,
there's a plan.
I'm sure that there is,
because
but
she says, "Are you ready for this?" So
definitely
we just don't know what it is.
This is stressful, Mom.
Well,
this
you
is a
gotta be
stressful
patient.
episode. I know, but like we're already like most of the way through.
We're gonna burn down their house. Give Zeke the justice he deserves.
What if you're wrong?
What, like you used to burn crosses?
A monster, but if it was
System's rigged against guys like me.
think
God.
about guys like you,
Your
Jordan.
father is the mayor.
This live stream is hitting all the time speeds. 10,000 views already. Not bad for a small town beat.
And she has won me over. I'm on her side now. Doesn't it make sense that Mr. Jones would purposely put Max in this exact position to get this exact concession from him?
But I didn't have the strength to save him if I did.
That is not true.
Immediately left out of last night's fireside chat.
Does he heal Max?
Yes. Show's got to go on.
Yes, but
And
yes, but
the other
what?
They're not dead.
No, like I agree, but this is not where this ends. This also does nothing to get rid of Mr. Jones.
I mean, unless it like this then explains that we have to cover up the murder.
Yeah.
Howdy, partner.
Where's everyone else?
Better than I have in a long time. How's Liz?
Kyle,
Yeah.
they're good. He drove her home.
Great.
No.
Well, I appreciate y'all not giving up on us.
We are a united front. That's what matters.
No. This is wrong.
All right.
I will get the silver. You guys get him ready for the pod.
Hey.
Something is wrong. Something is wrong.
You know, when I was a kid,
Oh my god, he's sharing.
feeling guilty, I used to lie in my truck thinking about what Rosa Orteco would be like all grown up. And I always thought if you didn't get to live a life that I didn't deserve one either. And that felt like a fitting punishment. And we should have known what putting you in that driver's seat would do.
This is amazing.
And I wish I could give you some kind of justice, but this is sadly the best that I can do.
I've never heard you say this many words at once. It's freaky.
He's screwing
Not a
up.
lot of people get a second chance to make things right. You did, though. Makes me think there's hope for me yet.
Mom, what an amazing scene that was. Oh my god.
You mean like the fact that we can't stop hurting each other no matter how hard we try?
The connection between us, it's hard to break.
Come on, Max.
As we're caught in each other's orbits.
Orbits decay.
What?
Is that Max, or is that Mr. Jones?
This whole thing is... It felt weird, but...
That's all I have to say.
I know.
Right now.
I know.
Toxicology confirms there was no foul play. His death was caused by a tragic mix of too much alcohol and a lit cigarette.
I mean, I guess that's technically covering up a murder, but again, they're not going to go to that guy's funeral.
I still have that tug of intuition.
Yeah. Ash.
I'm worried about
There's Ash.
Don't
I don't want
flinch.
anything to happen to Greg.
Let someone Get you a drink, for once.
Do not hurt Gregory Maines. What is...
Oh no.
What? Where is he?
Too much.
They're coming for him? Like,
people often ask, what's
He's-
worth fighting for?
what are you doing, baby?
Someone who can't help but put themselves in harm's way.
Yo!
What are you doing? Is he gonna find out that... But who? I mean, what? He gets then shot? I just...
These people mean everything.
Is this...
And I'm willing to do
in
whatever
Max's
it takes
house?
to keep them. Because we're all connected. They're my people.
Was that a fireball?
They'll do the same for me.
What? What did Kyle bring to Max's house? Who was in the alien mask? And then even if Maria showed up to try and, like, save Kyle...
Where's Kyle?
Where's Kyle? Then Max gets home. Finds Maria, who I'm just gonna go ahead and guess is not dead. Because apparently people are just not dead. There's a lot to process here. If that person showed up there to hurt Max, who, I mean, bad idea, because presumably Max has his gun on him. If the person who walks into the house says, hey, Evans, that's clearly not Max. So why would you show yourself? Why wouldn't you just, like, go out the window? Because, like, oh, this is not the person you want to attack. See, what is that? Something blows up. What is that?
They're my people.
What is that? And why wouldn't he immediately go there? There was an explosion in the sky. Right? It seemed like, you know, in, like, the corner of the screen. And it's like, oh, it looks like there's a huge fireball behind him. But he doesn't, like, turn around. And if you presume that he drove to it, he drove home. But his home is fine. Like, it's obviously been, like, there's been fighting. But there's not a crater in the ground. So what was that? That looked alien. I'm not sure I'm willing to say at this point that Max and Mr. Jones are, like, completely switched. But
there is a possibility.
There is a possibility.
Especially now.
But I feel like it's also might be affecting Liz and Kyle. I also do not believe him that he is not at, like, full strength. I don't think he needed to kill the guy in order to be strong enough to heal Max. I think he killed the guy so that it would set up a chain of events that would cause Max to be forced into letting Jones heal him. Why would you gather Mr. Jones, Max, Michael, and Isabel, Liz, and Kyle all in the same place, heal Max, and then the next scene is it's just Max, Michael, and Isabel. And Jones is, like, back in the cage or whatever. And Kyle and Liz are already gone. Like, that was strange. That was very strange. I liked the conversation between Max and Liz. I feel like there was an honest conversation. I feel like it shows that they both have things to work on in themselves before they could be good for each other. So I'm liking the maturity here. The growth that these characters are going through, like the scene with Michael, stunning. And just the conversations we've had this season, stunning, mature, honest. I'm loving it. There's, like, plot stuff that I feel like, even though we don't have all the answers yet, doesn't feel as strong as the emotional plot lines. And also, where is Mr. Alex Maines? Like, I enjoy that Michael is building friendships with Kyle and with Rosa. I 100% value that. But where is Alex Maines? What is our little Deep Sky soldier boy getting up to?
Yeah.
And honestly, like, I do want everyone to have fully developed stories. It's time to bring Alex back into this. Please, can we catch him up?
Yeah.
2 episodes in a row without him at all? That's too much. Do you think we'll ever see Heath again? Or is he's cutting his losses, going back home, and trying to emotionally rebuild? I am much less in the... And I was never sure he was Deep Sky, but I'm much less of that idea at this point. That was also a grown-up conversation that they had, and I appreciate that. Mm-hmm. But... And I feel like Liz did get... She got the point. And she could apply it to her own actions and her history, and that's good. So I feel like if that is what Heath's character ultimately is for, okay. I don't really need him to be more than that. So I feel like we might not see him again. I am wondering if we're going to see Forrest again. Because now that Alex is in Deep Sky, and, like, that's kind of why they broke up. Like, they're not getting back together, but I just feel like we might see him again. Because I kind of want Alex to have that, like, to answer that question of, like, he was so rightly angry that Forrest would be involved in Deep Sky, and then literally the next day goes to join up himself. So I would like that to be addressed.
Yeah.
And if the reason he did it was to have access to helpful answers and information, where does that take them how is that helpful to wherever they're going with the story next? I mean, I can only assume that Maria is just fine. Like, it's possible that, like, oh, Maria's dead, it's her funeral, now we have to save her like we were going to save Kyle. Possible. If one of those guys was at Max's house to hurt Max because Max was not as gung-ho about the supremacists as all the other cops were, okay. Kyle comes in and says, Evans, it's not... You would run at that point, right? But I'm interested where they are taking this arc of the plot. We'll see how well I have my guesses thought out for next week. But I mean, all the thinking I did for this week was just thrown out the window. So they are keeping us on our toes for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
That was...
For sure. And you're right. There's something going on with Jones. Like, this is. Because, like, how do we get rid of Jones then, you know? Like, oh, he's back in the pod. Why the pod and not the cage? Which suggests that maybe there is a little switcheroo happening, because if it, like, I don't know. Now, I would say that Isabel's, like, aura reading thing is not on all the time. But again, I think it would be hard to fool this group for long, that if it's, like, a full switcheroo. But if it is a full switcheroo, what is Mr. Jones's plan? What does he want?
Why?
Because if it is a switcheroo, it's better to keep Max in the pod rather than a cage. Because in the pod, like, he can't talk to anyone. It's more secure. He's not going to get out of there. The pod's not going to break. The cage has broken.
Why would the other two agree to put him in a pod?
Because they think it's Mr. Jones. Why would Mr. Jones agree to go back in the pod? I don't know. Like, if it's not a switcheroo, if Jones is in the pod and Max is out with them, why would Mr. Jones agree to that? We didn't see the immediate aftermath of the healing, which is very suspicious to me.
It's
very suspicious to me that we did not see the immediate aftermath of the healing.
Yeah.
It cuts to Liz and Kyle are already gone.
Yeah.
Jones is already set aside.
They've drove them
and
home.
before Max has even woken up.
Yeah.
Because it then starts, Max wakes up and he's only there with Michael and Isabel.
Well,
why would Liz leave before
Mr.
Max
Jones is in the pod,
woke up?
So it wasn't even... Yeah.
Why would Liz and Kyle leave so quickly? For what reason? There's got to be stuff in those minutes in between. Because that was just so weird.
You
it
know, like,
felt
well,
weird.
Take them home to
why?
You,
like, why? For what reason?
And
even though Max and Liz are sort of still on the outs, why would she leave before Max has even woken back up? That makes no sense. Why would Max's doctor leave before he has even woken up? Very suspicious. I feel like that is the in for what will be revealed at some point. Mr. Jones is still here. He's still to be dealt with. So there's definitely something going on.
Yeah.
Because it's not like, oh, Jones is in the pod for the next 70 years. We're just going to leave him there. Like, that's not going to be what happens. Okay. I think we'll leave it at there for tonight. Check back in next week.